If we look at acting as a total human art, you've got your voice and you've got your body, so it's half of it.
It's our number one tool. It's the thing that we have to use. Dancers have their bodies. Fighters have their bodies. This is what we have. This is our tool. So we have to use it to its capabilities.
Humans get so much of their communication through like physicality that you could completely undermine the dialogue and tell a completely new story with bodies. The bodies would be so compelling that the audience would discount the dialogue to follow what the bodies are doing.
I've definitely become aware of the importance of physicality and like the weight of it, and like being a little more choosy about it, especially when I'm talking about something that's important. I need to express something, and then this is just another tool to like get that out, because it's more dynamic if it's words and emotion and then also like a physical expression.
As an actor, like, you have to be aware that you're an athlete, so you do have to take care of it, and the better shape that your body is in, the more you're going to be able to do.
And if you don't take care of your body, if you are negligent to your body, it doesn't work.
As a performer and a director, I need to stay healthy. Life revolves around being warmed up and ready for rehearsal. And then when we move to performance, I make sure I'm well nourished, well hydrated, and I've warmed up.
Psychological blocks or issues, like, that's actually going to show up in your body. So actors have to do a lot of physical work to unlock and engage with a lot of their own like emotions and psychology. There's always like these two camps of like performance in terms of acting, about like whether you're supposed to make yourself believe something psychologically or you're just supposed to like act it out. The truth is that like they're both heading towards the same thing, which is not belief but acceptance. When you start to physically do something, your body and your nervous system just reacts.
Your thoughts play on your body, but it's still internal. And then you respond, your body responds, your mind responds when you are interacting with actors.
The physical violence or the physical intimacy or the whatever are the tools we are using to tell that story. So it's just like any other acting class. It's like any other skill you learn. You are taking that skill, you are taking that ability in order to tell that story. We use physical violence, we use physical intimacy, we use dance, we use, even in musical theater, they sing because words have failed. Our first job is to be acting that story, to tell that story, and to tell it authentically, so the body speaks the story. Like a dancer or a fight choreographer or fighter, anything where the body is moving through space, is the body is in the story. We are not verbally saying the words of a story. We are, with our bodies, physically telling the actions of the story. The situation has gotten to a point where us talking isn't working anymore. That's when everything takes over. So we are going to be doing a piece of choreography that's 6 moves long. We're just going to walk through those pieces, just going to make sure that our body's in the right places for safety, make sure that's that we still have the right pattern for it. Yeah. So the first move is here. I'm going to make eye contact and then put my hands on her shoulders. She doesn't want any part of it. Put my other hand here. She doesn't want any part of that. I'm going to turn and slap her. She's not going to like that. I'm going to tell her, you don't do that to me. She's going to push my hand, hit, and then she's going to push me away. We can also do this, both of us are afraid. So my grab, instead of being a grab, now is stay back, right? And she's pushing my hands away, telling me I can't do that. And I'm telling her, you can't come in. She pushes me away. If I'm worried about her, say, and this grip, instead of being something that is aggressive, then it can become a little bit more friendly. Like I'm not leaning in as much, I'm not gripping, I'm just placing here, asking her if she's okay. She pushes me hard, and that's an accident. How they react and how that affects their movement is going to talk about what their character is. So if they are an aggressive character, then their reactions to things they're going to be leaning in more. They're going to be more aggressive. The reactions are the continuation of the intention of the move. Once you know what the character is, that's going to influence what the move is and how it moves.
Blocking serves a lot of functions in the telling of a story. First of all, it renders the action in the most basic way. You know, someone wants to leave the room, they walk across the room and they exit the door. That's the rendering of action. You know, someone said that characters are always either coming together or coming apart. And what that physical relation says about the dynamics of a relationship, it's through blocking.
But I play with wonderful expression.
More interestingly, it takes what is internal to a character and makes it external, or it takes what's internal to the dynamics of a relationship and makes it external. Two characters falling in love, they move towards each other. If I'm afraid of you, I might move away from you. I might move to the other side of the room.
It is what the audience sees the performers doing, and so where they decide to move is everything, because it's not just the voice, it's not just the lines, it's where, you know, the interaction between everything and interaction with the set. The set's really important in this thing you're exploring, blocking. What is the space like that the performance is happening in? Is it just a plain black, you know, box? Or is it an integral living room with, you know, lots of furniture and props and everything? And all that is really blocking.
Any kind of structure that you can have as an actor can be restrictive, or it can be like a jungle gym. It can be something to hold on to. And in terms of how you can play on a jungle gym, you can do a lot more things than you can do with nothing, right? And so having that structure can actually feel really good, because it allows you to go to new heights and to feel held in certain places. And actors can often get stumped by the availability of all options in the world, right? It can be too overwhelming and can make us actually less creative. Sometimes I'm performing in these very stylized European productions in which my body has to be used in a very specific way. Sometimes, like what you're doing with your bodies or the blocking of the space or how your proximity to another actor can really fuel the performance, the take on the scene, the emotions, the inequality of acting is affected by where your bodies are. And most definitely, you know, in terms of how it's perceived.
In the carriage, Gwendolyn.
The blocking heavily influences the story.
Gwendolyn the carriage! Yes, Mama!
So costumes help in the process of characterization. A performer has a very personal connection with their body. From a costuming perspective, when we interact with the performer, the actors find elements of their costumes that help them with some physicalization. So we have to be very aware of that personal bubble, of that personal space, and the awareness that the performer has of themselves.
Costumes are a huge part of the way people move. So when it comes to actors, right, it's kind of that final step we get before we start really running the show, and depending on the show, it can mean a whole lot.
The costume is kind of that last piece that lets you know how you stand, where you move, what your shoes feel like, how tight your feet are, how restrictive things are. You know, if you're wearing a corset, or if you have a giant cape that you have to work around, or if there's a wig that you're going to constantly have to be working with, or you have to know all those things so you know if we've got this giant sweeping sword move, is it going to knock my wig off? Is my cape going to get in the way? Am I going to be able to make that large enough move with this corset I'm wearing or with these heels I've got on? We have to know all those things.
I hear all the time, especially in final fittings, the performer looks at themselves in the mirror for the first time in full costume and goes, oh, I get it. I am that person now. I am that character. But it isn't until they actually see themselves in a fitted garment to them that they have this aha moment. Because once you put on someone's wardrobe, walk a mile in their shoes, I guess, you begin to really understand that person.